If you are doing everything right, but still not seeing any results with your manifestations, well, here is the truth that nobody's telling you. Your manifestation isn't taking long to arrive, but you are taking long to receive it. In this lesson, I'm going to show you exactly why you are secretly blocking your own manifestations and the key shift that you can apply that will finally bring your desires into physical reality. So most people, most teachers even, have this completely backwards way of understanding the nature of manifestation, of what manifestation actually is. They believe that manifestation becomes real only when they can physically touch it, see it, or experience it in the three-dimensional physical reality, the physical world. But this is precisely where they all get it completely wrong. And this is the same trap that you might have fallen into in the past. You see, the manifestation was already completed the moment you became aware of it in your own consciousness. The moment you had that desire and became conscious of it in the spiritual realm, in the unseen realm, it was done. Think about it like this. When you place an order online, the transaction is complete the moment you hit confirm purchase. But the fact that the package hasn't arrived yet at your doorstep does not mean that the purchase did not happen. It is already yours, it's just in transit. You're just waiting for it to arrive at your doorstep, but it's not an active waiting. You're not checking every day at your doorstep, oh, is the package already here? No, you simply know that it will show up and it's already yours. What most people don't realize is that they themselves are the ones that are creating unnecessary delays in the delivery process. Now, before we go into a bit more depth about what is causing these delays, it is important that I explain to you a bit more about the true power of your identity and your own consciousness. Your identity, who you believe yourself to be, is the key that either unlocks or locks your manifestations. And to understand this truth, we must turn to Scripture. Scripture, the Bible, is the most important, the most powerful text that you can use to learn these lessons and to manifest anything you desire. You see in Proverbs 23, it tells us, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." Now, this key truth really reveals that your self-perception determines your reality. Your heart, in this case, in the ancient texts like Scripture, the mystic texts like the Hermetica, when they use the word heart, they are referring to the mind, for that is where they thought that consciousness and the mind resided. So don't think of the physical organ. Think of your own mind, your own consciousness, your own awareness of being. Really, what this passage says is, who you claim yourself to be, you are. So when you attempt to manifest something while still identifying as someone who doesn't have that thing, as someone who is waiting for something to happen, you create an internal conflict. Your own consciousness is saying, I want this, but your identity is saying, I am not the kind of person who has this. Not too long ago, I worked with someone called Sarah, who was just a lovely, lovely woman. And she really spent months trying to manifest something, trying to manifest her business growing. And she was doing all these techniques, visualizing, affirming, scripting, robotic affirming even, where you go completely insane and just keep repeating the same thing over and over. But nothing changed. And so I helped her. I acted as a mirror to herself. We dug and we discovered that deep down, she just still saw herself as an assistant, which is what her old job was, rather than a business owner. And the very day that she realized that her old identity was still with just being an assistant, instead of being her own business owner, her own boss, her own employer, once she realized that, it became very, very easy for her to shift that identity. She began to move through this world as if she already had this amazing, thriving business. And once she did this, very, very quickly, all of a sudden, she started to get all these customers who approached her. And before that, her own self-concept, her own internal identity drove these customers away. Because these customers did not want to do business with just an assistant. They wanted to do business with someone who acted confidently in the world and saw themselves as a competent businesswoman. But there's another critical piece to this whole manifestation identity puzzle that most people aren't telling you. And once you understand this, it will really begin to transform how quickly you manifest. Because the nature of true manifestation is instant. Yes, you heard that right. It happens the moment you truly identify with your desire. That is the moment of instant manifestation. In the spiritual realm, the moment you fully embody the state of having what you want, it is yours. Now again, Scripture, this wonderful, wonderful book full of lessons, confirms this in Mark 11. It tells us, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Now notice that it doesn't say, believe you will receive it. It says, believe that you have received it. The receiving happens first in consciousness, and only then does it appear in your physical reality. This is why people so often report that things manifest out of the blue after they have given up or forgotten about them. It wasn't that the giving up caused the manifestation, it was the stopping of identifying with lack and resistance that finally caused the manifestation to show up. When you truly identify as someone who already has what they desire, whether it is money, love, wealth, fame, spiritual growth, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, once you claim it to be yours, once you begin to identify with it, your entire energy shifts. And you stop looking for it, you stop worrying about it, you stop trying to force it, because why would you look for something you already have? And when you stop looking for something because you already have it, that is exactly the moment when it will begin to show up in your physical world. Does it feel natural? Ask yourself that question. Does it feel natural that you already are rich, that you already are loved, that you have that promotion at work? If the answer is no, well, then you haven't given it to yourself yet. You haven't shifted into that new identity. You haven't claimed that new identity for yourself yet. Now, this brings us to really one of the biggest obstacles that I see with my own students that I teach, and that I myself struggled with as well for a good amount of time. This obstacle that really keeps people stuck in this manifestation limbo, where you keep trying but nothing keeps happening. And I'll tell you how to overcome that if you want to speed up your manifestations dramatically. You see, the physical world, what many teachers call the three-dimensional world, or the world of Caesar, or the dense world, it doesn't matter which term you use, but that world is where most people sabotage their manifestations without even realizing it. Here is what happens. You do your visualization or affirmation session, you feel wonderful, you feel connected to your desire, but then you open your eyes and immediately confront your current reality, which shows you no evidence of your desire. And at this very crucial moment, you face a spiritual choice. Will you maintain faith in the unseen, or put your trust in what your physical senses are telling you? Now we turn to this part of scripture that is maybe one of my most quoted ones. Whenever I have a talk with a student, inevitably this one comes up in one of our calls, in one of our discussions. Corinthians tells us, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." And if you are in the habit of writing down these lessons, write down this piece, because it is one of the most crucial ones. It is not just some religious saying. This is pure, practical instruction for manifestation. Because most people instantly abandon their spiritual work the moment they see evidence that contradicts what they just experience internally. So are you walking by faith or are you walking by sight? These are the two masters you can decide to serve. Faith is represented by Jesus Christ in Scripture, and sight is represented by the devil in Scripture. And so every moment of your day you have a choice. Do I walk by faith? Am I loyal to my own Jesus Christ in me? Or do I walk by sight, and am I loyal to the devil in me? And the vast majority of humanity is completely asleep to this, and they are completely seduced, sedated by their sight, by the devil. And so, if you wish to become a more spiritual, awake person, you must understand this lesson. Begin to walk by faith, and no longer be seduced by what the three-dimensional physical world is showing you. Do not walk by sight. So, and this leads us really to one of the next most understood aspects of the manifestation process, that if you begin to understand this, it is going to transform how quickly your desires materialize. Because the key here is persistence. The true work of manifestation isn't in creating your desire, because all desires already exist. Another word for God or the divine in the Hermetic texts is the all. And the all truly means the all. Nothing new can ever be created or destroyed, because the divine God is as it is, infinite in every way. So creation is instant because it already exists. Your job is not to force, not to create. Creation has been done for you. The real work is in persisting in your new identity despite what your senses are telling you. Persistence doesn't have to be exhausting. It is not about forcing yourself to feel positive all the time, like some of the law of attraction teachers tell you. This is incredibly toxic and I think incredibly destructive and very difficult. You're not meant to be forcing your emotions. Emotions are a byproduct. And so don't fall in that trap of thinking you have to force yourself to be happy all the time. This is just, honestly, it's misinformation. This is not how manifestation works. If it's exhausting, you're not doing it right. It's not about forcing. It is about allowing. It is simply about maintaining your new story regardless of what is happening around you. So think about something that you already have. Like, for example, the phone you're watching this on, or your computer or your tablet. You don't wake up each morning affirming that you have a phone or visualizing yourself with it. You simply know it's yours. It's a deep inner knowing. And there's this quiet, calm knowing that requires no effort or strain. And this is exactly what the Bible means in Hebrews 11. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Your unwavering faith becomes the actual substance that forms your manifestation in the physical world. When you face circumstances that seem to contradict your desire, instead of seeing them as evidence that it is not working, you really need to treat them as opportunities to strengthen your new identity. It's like reality is just testing you a little bit. It's like teasing you. And if you give in, you've lost the game, right? Perhaps a more accurate example is an internet troll, right? Who leaves an outrageous comment to just bait people into engaging with it. And as soon as you engage with the troll, you've lost, right? Don't feed the trolls. I hope you know that expression. And it's the same here. Don't feed the devil. Don't feed sight by giving your attention to it. Each time you choose to maintain your state, despite any evidence to the contrary, you become more established in your new identity. And so you need to release the need for proof. The fastest way to slow down your manifestation is to constantly look for evidence or proof that it is working. And pivoting immediately after, looking for a new shiny technique, trying to look for a different master, trying to follow a different guru. No, this searching for proof comes from doubt. And doubt is the opposite of faith. When you truly have something, you don't need proof of it. You don't wake up every morning checking for evidence that you have arms, You simply know that your arms are there and you use them without thinking about it. And in a similar way, when you truly embody the state of having your desire, you no longer feel the need to check for evidence. You're not going to constantly be looking at your bank account to see if money has arrived. That's not what rich or wealthy people do. They don't constantly check their phone if they're a very popular person, because they know that no matter what, they'll find like 100 different texts. Because they know that it's already done. This is the state they're operating from. Now again, scripture, very important. Romans 4, it says that God calls those things which do not exist as though they did. Now this is the ultimate manifestation principle. Calling into being that which is not yet visible to the physical eye. When you release the need for proof and live from the end result instead, when you truly embody the state of having already received, you remove the final obstacle to your manifestation. There was a student that was trying to manifest a specific job. They had gotten a degree and he really wanted to find a job that fit with the degree that he got. Now he got this degree not out of any future desire to find a high-paying job. He got this degree because he loved this subject. It wasn't a very well-paying one that would give him a job offer that would be very well paid in the future. Nonetheless, he learned about manifestation, the law of attraction, all of this. And so he started doing it, he started affirming, he started doing all these practices, looking into a mirror, telling that he loved himself, all of this. But he did this while constantly checking his email and phone for a response. When I told him basically everything I've told you in this video, in this lesson, the day he started to implement that and he finally let go and started to live as if he already had this position that he wanted, that fit perfectly with his degree, treating it as done in his mind, that was the exact same day that he received the call offering him this truly dream job. So what would your own life look like if you completely released the need for proof and simply lived from the state of already having everything you desire? Because the truth is, your manifestations are not taking long to arrive. You are taking long to truly receive them in consciousness first. The moment you fully identify as the person who already has what you desire, and you maintain that identity regardless of any physical evidence and release the need for proof, that is when your desires will manifest with astonishing speed. Remember, you are not consciousness trying to create a new reality. You are consciousness already experiencing your desired reality, waiting for your physical senses to simply catch up. This shift in understanding will transform not just how you manifest, but how you experience your entire life. When you realize that you already have everything you desire in consciousness, and that your only job is to maintain that knowing until it appears physically, manifestation and life just becomes so effortless and joyful. Now, this video is part of a series on mastering manifestation. So there should be a video on screen right now, which I highly recommend you watch, as it perfectly lines up with what has been taught here and will take your understanding to an even deeper level.